How's it going, everybody? Thanks for tuning in. This is my first video for Life Rocks, Magical Jewels and Gemstones. So, in this channel, I'm going to do wire wrapping and start selling my pieces that I make. And I've watched a lot of videos, and they're really pretty interesting to watch people do their designs and how they have the camera completely on the stone that they're working on. This one's going to be a little more unorthodox. I'm basically going to hang out. I'm going to pick a stone. I'll talk about the metaphysical properties of it. We'll take a really good look at it and admire it. In the process of what I usually do is I will listen to some music or, educate myself on the fields that I have with other goals and desires of where I'm going while I'm also doing this. But I decided that it would really be awesome to start a channel with Life Rocks, and which is my, little business that I'm creating, so that people can watch the journey as it grows. So thank you so much for being a part of this process. How did I come up with the idea and the motivation and inspiration to wire wrap and create this, the idea of a company or business? I had spent a lot of my time in life being a people pleaser and helping people accomplish their goals, thinking that if I did this, in the end, it really will, which it has. I mean, I can't say it hasn't, because here I am doing this, and I have other goals that I'm now shooting towards. But within the realm of certain events of my life, I had spent a lot of time working with other people, for other people, thinking that this will eventually pay off towards where I wanted to be. So, I spent a lot of time in many occupations, from sales to being a chef to being a carpenter, doing construction, floor mechanic for a long time, hardwood flooring, refinishing, and also install. I do many things. I've also been a part of many kitchens, from prep cook to line cook to everything you could possibly think of every position in a restaurant. And every time I would do these things in life, it's not really what I wanted to do. Okay? What I really wanted to do was be a musician. And I am. And a lot of people would tell me when I was a child that that was like a pipe dream. So, I put it down most of the time for the idea of these trades. But these trades are more important than following your dreams. Well, long story short, I was married at one time, and then after 11 years, over the last probably 5 years of the relationship, started to transform into a different person. And because of these ideas that, I got a child, so I should probably stay married for the children and all these things, I started to create in my mind areas of where it was okay to stay in a marriage that was failing rather than follow my own dreams and success. So, after thinking really hard and long about my life and where it was at that current state, and seeing what it would be like if I didn't actually make a move now, that if I kept staying in that relationship, I was going to stay the same person. And so I decided to pursue my own happiness, if you will. Some people might say it's selfish, but I realized that it was being selfless to completely stay there, and the people that were allowing these things to happen and me not valuing myself made it so that I wasn't getting valued back, and we were reflections of each other. So I then turned around, and me and my ex-wife I decided to leave. So after I left, I ended up getting a series of many jobs, from going back to selling construction jobs to then I decided to go to Rhode Island for a while and was working at a warehouse for a few months. And then those guys kind of showed me that they didn't value me or were willing to pay me what I was worth. So I left there and I got a job with a temp agency for a while that got me another job working with NDCP, who are the people that deliver to Dunkin' Donuts across the entire United States. So I was in the process of this and realizing, you know what, I'm gonna start I gotta figure out who I am, what I'm doing in this life, because I'm being plugged into the matrix of things with people. They don't necessarily understand the things that are coming through my mind all the time. So I'm feeling ultimately alone all the time. And I'm doing these things for like approval. I'm doing them to gain things. And every time I'm pushing, I'm actually hitting brick walls. And what I really wanted to do is, you know, do the music and create a channel that I did called Alchemical Reality that taught people law and hermetic philosophies of hermetic principles of axioms within the understanding of the mind and metaphysics. And then everybody said I was crazy or whatever, so I kind of was being pushed around in many directions. So as time progressed, though, I kept envisioning where I wanted to be and who I would like to have a part of my life and all these things. And I had this girl with me, and she fell out of love with me and started seeing somebody else, and then wanted to, break up, or at least have a break. And so I was like, okay. So I left and had to go start over from there again after all the work I had done and manifested in Rhode Island. When I got to Maine, no one really cared about what I was going through. And I had gone through so much in my life before. I had open heart surgery twice and my stomach ripped out, and during that time of being completely alienated and not having anyone understand what I was going through, I started to see kind of similar situations going on. Oh, by the way, what we're doing now is just kind of making the material. I'm taking copper and 3 pieces of 26 gauge and a pin vise right here, and I'm basically just kind of wheeling them together to create like a braid, like rope. And copper is obviously an enhancer towards the properties. It has its own metaphysical realms of our bloodstream. I'll give you an example. I'll tell you what the book says, so you don't think I'm just kind of making this stuff up. Copper is a plentiful metal ore that has been used for centuries both for utilitarian and decorative purposes. It ranges in color from a soft red-brown to a deep brick red. If exposed to oxygen, the surface will rust to a bright green. Copper is used today for such diverse things as cookware and computer parts. Copper is used by medical science for many ailments, particularly for inflammation. Copper will aid in the fight against inflammatory diseases such as arthritis and rheumatism. Particularly when used in conjunction with other stones, copper helps stabilize the metabolism and heightens the actions of the cleansing organs in the immune system. The blood also benefits from copper. Copper is beneficial for the lungs, improving the exchange of oxygen and filtering out pollutants. Soft tissue and mucous membranes retain more moisture and become less susceptible to irritation through exposure to copper. Copper is considered an excellent aid for increasing your ability to express and accept true feelings. Copper balances personal reserve and confidence. Copper can be worn or carried anywhere on the body and can be made into jewelry without losing any of its effect. Those with arthritis or other inflammatory diseases may find relief if they wear copper directly over the afflicted area. A note of caution: use of copper is not suggested as a substitution for professional medical treatment, but rather as a possible addition. As with other stones, it must be considered as primarily an aid to healing, not a cure. And it actually is known as a conductor of metal that will enhance the properties of what the stones already offer within their metaphysical properties. So this is some Jasper rhyolite, and we're either going to do one of these, and I'm going to go ahead and exercise an amazing wrap here. I have another one here. Here's some epidote. So this is some epidote I was thinking about working with, but that'll be a little different. And I also have another piece of Jasper rhyolite that's blue and pink, and these are really beautiful. But I'm going to design a specific kind of wrap. That one is definitely a pendant and a really amazing Abraxas. I can definitely see this being gorgeous. You can flip it up this way, and the way that it kind of is like a diamond, that's how I envision it, and how I'm going to see how I'm going to begin the wrapping process for what I have envisioned. So we're going to do one more. So getting back to the reason why I decided to manifest Life Rocks. So on the process of this journey of spiritual awakening, all these people were, giving me stones. I started to find stones. Stones were coming to me. I actually picked this black obsidian off the ground, and it's actually for psychic protection. Excuse my nails. I was actually digging into the ground earlier today and was working on some other stuff, and I probably should actually clean my hands up, but I'm just making some pieces right now. And so I left, and then I started working back again, building houses and doing all these things, and I started to experience a lot of things that I had done before, which was people disrespecting me and really insulting me. And in the process, my mom had said to me one time when I was in this relationship with this girl, and she said, Seneca, you don't love yourself. And I was like, yes, I do. She's like, no, you don't, because if you did, would ask yourself, do you deserve what you're going through? And I'm like, no, I don't. I deserve way better than what I'm going through. So that's what started the process of self-love and that journey, and I'm very thankful for it. So then I made it to New England, and here I am getting yelled at, and I'm like, yeah, I deserve better than this too. This is terrible. So I just walked off the job. I didn't even allow myself to explain myself. At just the moment that this guy started cussing me out and treating me like I was nobody, I then just decided I'm going to leave. I'm not going to put up with this. I don't care who this person thinks he is. So after that, I started seeing a lot more of people in New England and their qualities of self that I failed to see in myself, of their own ignorance and stuff like that. So I then did everything I could to continue to work and save money and keep trying to achieve my goals, and I realized no matter what I did, who I worked for, whatever it was, I wasn't making enough. There wasn't enough to make ends meet to get to where I needed to go. And I started to get really angry at the people that were hiring me because, I told them where I wanted to be in my life and what my goals were, and then when I wasn't getting there, I was actually upset with them too because, I thought we're all working together in this, and the truth is I found out that that's not always the case. So I ended up going back down to Florida to create a business with somebody else, and then the more that we started to create that business, it was his name on everything. It was all his stuff. It was just me using it. So I had to take a huge step back and really reevaluate my life and say, am I going to give another ample amount of years to somebody else, or am I going to start giving these years to myself? So I made the hard decision to leave my comfort zone and the luxury that was being offered to me through somebody else, even though, yes, it was a nice gig. It was not mine, and in the end, it was going to all be his. And then that would have been time that I wouldn't have been applying to myself. So I got upset a little bit, and I started to think about this business that I wanted to do with landscaping and home maintenance and home cleaning all in one, and like go door to door and sell my business card and my T-shirt and start setting up clients. And it was going. The idea was really great, and a lot of people started to support the idea. But then I started thinking about what my future would be like. People calling me all the time, and then what if I have my family situations going on? Well, when you have clients, they actually become more important than your own life sometimes. And when you're providing a service to people, such as a restaurant, home improvement, sometimes your business, your livelihood, becomes so important that you kind of put your clients above your family. And I've done this before when I worked for many sales companies. And what ended up happening between that was I felt like one, these people didn't really care about me at the end of the day, and what about my family? And then I realized I felt like I didn't care about me, so my family didn't care about me, and what about all this hard work I'm doing? Where's the payoff? So in the process of thinking about that, I was like, okay, that, as much as this is negative thinking, it is rational. And so I started thinking about that, so I kind of took a step back, and then I thought, okay, so let's just say you do good. You got 20 clients, you're finally making do, the lights are getting paid, everybody's happy. So now you got 30 clients, 40 clients. Oh, you got to hire someone. Do you think they're going to care about your company as much as you do? Maybe at first, but then eventually they're either, so you hire them for a certain amount, they're either going to want to be better than where they are, or they're you're hiring for somebody that doesn't, they're just happy to get the job, and the next they might have addictions, they might not work as fast, as hard, and they might not actually care to please the client. And then I thought about liability, taxes, all these things, and I just decided that is a lot of stress. As much as it sounds prosperous and a great service to communities, I thought about my mental health and myself, and I decided to take a step back and say, you know what, I'm not going to do that. So in the process, down in Florida, I'm working with my daughter, I'm working with my ex-wife again, trying to be her best friend, working with everybody that basically it didn't work out with before. I'm trying to make it all work again, okay? And I'm glad I did that because I learned a lot. So I turn around and I'm talking to my daughter, and I'm like, hey, baby girl, never forget to follow your dreams and to do all these things. And she's like, Daddy, why are you not taking your own advice? Like, what do you really want to do? And I'm like, well, I want to be here and, do all these things for you. And I'm like, and I'm working really hard to get there. It's just I have to make all these sacrifices. But the truth is that I really didn't have to. And I started looking into being a truck driver. And then, there's things that I like to do in my life that really, I've sacrificed everything that makes me happy. If I keep sacrificing it for the idea of some kind of success, what about really the things that actually make me happy? Am I happy making all these sacrifices just to be able to do the things that I think I need to do to make my little angel, happy and to fulfill those roles and obligations? So I decide, okay, you know what, you're right. I'm going to leave and I'm going to go back to New England because really it's beautiful up there. It's better. It is my home. It's where I'm from. And so she's supported it. And Chimera's like, we'll just, talk to each other all the time on the phone. And as soon as you figure it out, when you get up there and get a place and stuff, we will just go ahead and I'll come up there and then crash with you during, you know, wintertime, maybe a whole year. It didn't really matter. It was just like, all right. And it was so hard to say and to look at myself and care about myself rather than thinking about just her and her needs and what I should be doing as a father. So, long story short, I ended up turning around and coming to Maine, and right away I had this restaurant waiting for me, this job, because I was going to go ahead and just start doing the same thing that I had always done, and thinking that that'll lead into my dreams. And I was going to go work for this guy for, like, I was going to give him 3 years of my time. And as soon as I got there, he kind of treated me like I was a slave off a ship. And as soon as I walked in, he started disrespecting me right away. And, the experience that I've had, I don't expect anybody to really care unless they really are apathetic and really consider. But through my experiences, I realize that a lot of people don't care what you've been through. They pretend that they care, but they don't really care. They only care about what you can do for them. So when I got off the bus and I started to see what was going on, I I let it happen to a degree of where I was not going to debate or argue with this person. So he showed me that he didn't really care about me at all. He was like, I'm going to train you the hard way, and everybody there was like, yeah, this is just what you do. You let your boss basically disrespect you and shit all over you and treat you like you're, you know, a non-existent human being to society. This is what you're bred for, is to just be treated like dog shit. And so I just left. I decided, what, this isn't for me. So then I got another job working with another guy that, I mean, I'm not going to go into details of it completely, but because I don't want to like shit shame people. Everybody is who they are, and I'm learning to accept them. So I got another job being a carpenter, and I really busted my ass with this job, and I was really doing great. So much so that I believe that I became actually a threat to the person that I was working with. And as much as we thought we were friends from the past, it started to become evident that we were not friends here in the present. And so, but whatever. I stayed my due diligence and did what I had to do. Well, all of a sudden, COVID started to get to a point of where people were on this level of where, how do I describe it? I hung out with somebody. I didn't believe in COVID the same way as everyone else, okay? Because I don't watch TV. So then I turn around and I hang out with this girl who was my boss's cousin, actually, and she supposedly has COVID. So we hang out. I get the test. I have no COVID, but she supposedly has COVID. I go to work. I tell these guys, hey, I might have COVID. I don't think so, but, I'm just letting you know. Well, as the day progressed, we all believed that COVID was not real, but now that this is happening, everybody starts to turn on me. So, long story short, I stay home. I go to the doctor. I get the test. I come back. They say, it doesn't even matter anyways. We're just gonna, the boss told me that he liked me, but Eric, my friend, doesn't want me to work there anymore, and so he's gonna listen to him. So I was like, wow, that's insane. So I was like, thank you for letting me know. So upset now that I don't have a job. I have no idea what I'm going to do with my life, and I'm completely upset. And taking mine now, I'm getting all these jewels and gems and all these things given to me, and I start to look up these metaphysical meanings and interpretations to them, and before you know it, they're all kind of pointing towards, these stones and the passion that I have for them and the love, and they're really helping me on the journey. So I had thought of a friend of mine who done it before, and then he, during COVID, ended up unfortunately taking his own life. So I'm sitting there now. I'm like, I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't want to get a real job now. I don't want to do anything. I'm just trying to. I was like, I want to wire wrap, but I don't want to have any lessons really. I just want to see if I can do it. So I then turn around. Here, we're gonna go ahead and do this beautiful piece of rhyolite. It's got. It's really beautiful. I'll show you what we got here. So if you look real close, it's actually got some purple, some red. Here, maybe I can go ahead and... Actually, I'm going to do some fancy Jasper. If you look, this is a really beautiful piece of fancy Jasper. It's got an amazing energy to it. And so we're going to do this one. Jasper is a pretty amazing stone. In fact, Jasper is another member of the Chalcedony family, found worldwide. It comes in shades of red, yellow, green, or brown. Many experts in gemstone healing suggest using this stone for elixirs because it will not overstimulate any part of the body. In fact, this stone is considered more effective if it is used for long periods of time because it works slowly. Any benefit derived from Jasper takes time to accomplish because it is methodical and meticulous worker. It is a methodical and meticulous worker, but the overall result of prolonged use of Jasper in healing practices will be unifying in all aspects of life. Basically, it heals our root chakra and within those deep inner realms and helps with self-acceptance and those kind of particulars. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this off and see how this works. And let's hope that this wrap actually is as beautiful as I projected it to be. Now, I'm going to work hard at not having to actually create a netting. I would like to have it nice and tight to where these are wrapping around on its own so beautifully, and then slowly, yeah, actually it's already kind of looking really nice. There we go. Yeah, actually, it really is. So, by the way, thanks for watching and listening. So, I'm sitting there wrapping stones, and I'm doing it. And I'm like, you know what? This is what I love to do. I think I'm going to do this. And so I wrapped my first stone, and immediately the girl that I was with bought it immediately. She was like, I couldn't even believe how beautiful it was. And I was like, wicked modest and humble, and I still am, obviously. And then I turn around and start to look at the, like, just spending time by myself and not having to answer to anybody. And I started to feel all these emotions coming up, and it started to give me time to reflect on some of the things that I never realized were really, really, really bothering me. And so the more and more that I did it, I said, I want to do this. This is who I am. And so in that process, I then decided that this is what I'm going to do. So then immediately, as I did, I got really excited like a little kid thinking that everybody else is going to be just as excited as me. And right away, they all started to say, this is a hobby, it's a pipe dream, it's never going to work, and all these things. And I was like, wow. And again, dealing with so many struggles as I had, I started to kind of like, let these people rent free space in my head. And I started to get really sad again. And then I started to meet people on the journey that were like, these are the most amazing pieces I've seen in a long time. How much are they? I started to give their prices. They're like, way too cheap. You need to, up your prices. And I'll give you, $10 or $15, a little bit more than, what I think. So if I wanted $35, they gave me $45 and said I should have sold it for $60. So I was like, oh, well, thank you. So I kept giving them away basically, and also as gifts, and just so excited that I have this ability to do something that I think is amazing, and I just love it so much. And then I started thinking about the people on the journey, on their own journey of metaphysics, that do they realize that in their process of their own enlightenment, as their own higher self is always speaking to them, they are truly becoming, through the stones that they pick up and hold, they're almost as if it's a part of their actual journey. So I was like, what a gift that would be, to be an individual that creates these pendants. I do the beaded necklaces and stuff. It's kind of a long story what happened there. I'm not gonna. Well, maybe I'll get into the details one day. You know. So I started to see the beauty in it, and a lot of people did not believe in it, and I kept to it, and I love it so much. So I decided to keep doing it, and I have a little Facebook page called Life Rocks Magical Jewels and Gemsicles, and it's a great page. And I thought of gemsicles or gemstones, you know, either way, it's I like playing on words, and I like kind of comedy, and I like things being really just humorous, and that's how I saw it when I created it. So, but as I started to progress forward, I thought about being professional too, but I'm just gonna have fun with it. That's what it's really all about. So the more that I did it and kept believing in myself, things really did actually progress further. I have some amazing pieces made, and I'm going to continue to advertise them and do all these things. But that's how it really actually all began. I had been going through so many hard times, and I invested a lot of the money into other things, and those things did not work out. And in the process, I kept finding myself sad and wire wrapping, and it was like the spirit was really guiding me to do this. And so, humbly, I have been gifted this privilege and right of birth as well to be an artist and present these things. And I am actually proof of following your dreams and not working. So in this journey, I I'm very much humbled and honored to be here, to have this conversation and to share this story with you that um, maybe you guys really can relate to, and um, found to be amazing, of a testimony, and to keep doing what you're doing. Believe in yourself, and I'm glad that I have been able to do this, because now I get to share this experience with you guys. So I'm not going to talk about this all the time. So this is the first video, and this is the first piece that we're making here, and so it's all really actually amazing, if you ask me. So thank you so much for being here. We'll probably listen to some music. I don't know if they'll shut me down for copyright issues and stuff like that. Maybe I can create playlists or certain things of abnormal underground music, that, or I can contact those people later on in the road. Maybe they'll contact me, and we can work together as far as educational purposes, and avoid copyright issues as far as entertainment and stuff. Yeah, and letting everybody know like what I'm listening to while I'm listening to it. To me, it's not about money. It's about doing what you love and realizing that you are the money. And so, thank you for being a part of this. And if you found this interesting in the story, and something that you admire, hit the thumbs up, please, because you're supporting a man that is really doing all this for himself and his daughter. That's all I can think about. So, thank you. And so far, here's what we got. Well, we've been shooting the breeze, chewing the fat, and I do like it. I think it's really nice. I'm gonna mess with it as I go. I'm going to go ahead now and do some twirls. And you know what? I'm going to add a little music while we're talking and hanging out. And I'm 420 friendly, so if you are, don't be afraid to have a good time with us and get down. Doing a lot of shadow work and working on the way that I communicate. And so I'm always being conscientious of the things that I say and how they affect other people going out. And if you found this to be kind of like sad or whatever, I apologize. That's not was my intention. It's my journey. And sometimes you got to go through some darkness to get to the light, you know? And so I'm honored actually to endure my life and all the experiences that I've ever had. And everyone that's actually been a part of the journey of the alchemical transmutation process, which I have another channel called Alchemetical Reality that talks about the journey in full depth. And that one's really intense. It's kind of turned into an educational, theoretical, because I'm learning that belief it takes away from the realm of imagination and how anything is possible. So when you believe something to be so set in stone, you're kind of taken away from the ability of things to have open movement, of being able to have anything be possible when you start to say, this is how it is. So I like to look at it as it might be for you, it might not be for you. It might be exactly what you need on your journey of your own self-awareness, or it might be something that you have no desire, and this is exactly where you need to be. But that'll describe a lot of where I'm at in my life in fuller depth, and how I kind of really actually got to where I'm at right now. So right now I'm going to go ahead, clip some of these because I'm realizing that they're really, really, really long. So we're going to do probably a few inches here. Again, this is probably a little unorthodox to a lot of the wire wrapping videos that most people are privy to. This one I'm hoping is more for someone who's wanting to hang out, just chill with me, enjoy the conversation of the storytelling, and maybe, you can relate to the stories, add to it in your own way or whatever, and we can just wrap some stones together. And if you're looking to purchase them or want to help me out, I'll leave a Facebook link or whatever towards the store, and we can go from there. And that would be amazing to be able to help you with your journey as well. And I've seen some amazing videos. I have a friend of mine, her name is Leslie from Stark, Florida. She's amazing. And whenever we would hang around with each other at the end of the day, we would watch these videos of this one lady. She would literally go to these dumpsters, crawl right into them, and then find people's trash and junk, and then flip it, and then actually remarket, repackage it, and rebrand it into her way, and then people would actually start buying her stuff, and then that's how she ended up making a living. And I was like, wow, this is really amazing. So then after that, I started watching these people that were actually making videos using those coin machines, and I was like, wow. And I literally found myself with her for hours watching these things, and I couldn't even believe that I actually was that entranced in watching these videos. So I figured, you know what, might as well add something like that for people, that they can be a part of something while they're hanging out, and maybe this will inspire you in many different ways than just rapping. There's so many different techniques, and I'm still actually in the process of learning so much. I finally have realized that yes, I'm glad that I found my own routine and way of doing it, but now I'm finally open to learning other people's techniques, which is, to me, beautiful, because it's always good to be a student in life and still be open to learn new things all the time. So yeah, I'm hoping that's what everybody's going to get out of it. That's the intention. So I'm putting that out there in the universe. And yeah, let's go ahead and listen to a little bit of some music, right? Well, I'm turning now. Yes, I'm turning now. This is Grizz. Turning. Well, I'm turning now. It's too much. And I'm falling now. But I'm learning now. But it's falling now. Oh, no. I still love you, baby. Oh, yeah. I still love you, baby. Oh, yeah. Ain't no limit now. How much I miss you now. I love that you never know how it's going to come out, you know, until it's done. And it's like the spirit's working it the most. That's what I feel, you know? I'm fixing the bail. Right now I'm thinking about an individual that has come into my life and has really helped me in ways that's hard to see a part of myself letting her go, you know, like I've learned in life that attachment sometimes is what hurts us the most. It's not love. It's attaching to someone with a certain expectation of how love is supposed to be that ends up actually hurting us the most. It's the expectation. And so I have no expectations of this girl. I mean, I guess I probably do a little bit, only because of the fact that you care about somebody, and then there's always that part of where you're kind of, you know, there is that part of where you're looking for a little reciprocation. And the truth is that you don't need it. It's like you're looking for it, and that's what's keeping it from actually being there. So maybe this is where I need to learn to just let things be and chill and do what I'm doing right now, which is work on myself, right? So that's what I'm doing. And she's going through a lot in her life right now through her, you know, it's like, I want to say that basically I helped her enlighten herself, but that's not really true. She was already in that process anyways. But when we had met, it really kind of solidified her and her actual awakening process. And then once that happened, she became enlightened, and then it's the rest of her peers around her and how she looks at life, and then they look at her. And when you start to value yourself and look at yourself differently, everything changes, because the cause starts from that intention, that emotion, and then starts the effect on the outside of, you know, that magnetic pole. The universe is going to start changing, and that's how it happens. So yeah, change is happening. So it's amazing. So then it makes me think about her, though, and you know, while a part of me is like, you know, you shouldn't care about her so much as far as, like, you know, more than your own self, part of me really cares about her as myself. So, and even, it's strange. So that's what I'm thinking about as I'm wrapping this, and kind of where life is going as far as is that. And then we have ideas to work together in a business arrangement, and I kind of can't wait to see that unfold and culminate. Really, things are amazing. Again, thanks for watching. I really hope that this, us getting to know each other is a mutual thing, you know. Being friends with strangers. This is actually coming out really well. It's almost done. And then, yeah, I sent her some stuff. I made her a little band, an armband, and I gave her a necklace that I made out of howlite and tiger's eye, and I also gave her a piece of quartz and like some amazing shiny, strange. I have no idea what it was. I just know it's so gorgeous. That's why I kept the rock, and then I decided I'll give it to her because, well, why not? And yeah, it's like I'm always around then, you know, the gift is there, you know, it's like you did it, and forever now, they'll always look at those gifts and think about you, and so you're always around now, you know. Yeah, money spends, but when you give somebody something like this, at first they might see, you know, whatever, but I'm telling you, thankfulness is something that comes around in time, and it's a beautiful thing once it really does come around. It is gorgeous. Wow, actually this came out splendid. I'm really impressed with it. I'll go ahead and show you what I got here. So, check it out. Fancy Jasper. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, hit the thumbs up, subscribe for more videos to come out and content just like this. And I really am highly grateful and humble. And I hope to see you again. Thanks.